Today, we're going to go over the 5 signs that'll give you the answer on whether or not you need to rebuild. If you're doing more than 3 of these, chances are you need to take a step back and rebuild. Let's start with number 1. Everything still ends up at your desk. Regardless of how many managers you hire, how many people you put in place, the type of systems that you want to integrate, at the end of the day, it still ends up on your desk. If every decision that needs to be made, if every upset customer, install problem, technician issue ends up at your desk, then you don't have a system. What you have is a dependency issue. And that in and of itself is going to kind of take the time that you need to be able to focus on the business as opposed to being in the business. Now, there's different levels to this. If you are anywhere between maybe 0 to 2 million, yeah, you still need to be involved a lot on the decisions that you're making, but you need to start putting systems in place to be able to track progress and understand why these things are ending up in your desk. If you still have this problem, if you have a 1, 2, or even $3 million company and things are still ending up on your desk, what you have is a very elaborate self-employment program. You don't really have a business. If it does not operate without you, it's not really a business. If it stops making money with you there, it's not really a business. So think about that as you move forward and as you start thinking, what do I need to do next? And why do these things keep ending up at my desk? This shouldn't be a problem. Point number 2, leadership feels heavier or harder than the actual technician work that needs to be done. Now, mind you, if you're a plumber, you're digging trenches and literally in the you know what. If you're in the HVAC space, sometimes you're spending time in 100-degree weather. Whatever it is, your leadership should not feel heavier and it shouldn't be a burden to you. When you have issues as a leader and as an owner and as a manager, this leads to burnout. People don't get burned out because they have a tough schedule. People get burned out because they're doing things that they don't have to be doing. You knew it was going to be a hard schedule. You came from the technician side, or maybe you're an investor and you had to make a bunch of money to even get a franchise north of 250,000. So hard work. I'm not saying that, but leadership and operations should never feel harder than that. At the end of the day, we understand that you built the business to create freedom, to create legacy, to create a solution to a problem. And at no point should it ever become harder than the actual work itself. That's how you know you're diverting from a path. That's how you know you're scaling without structure. And that's how you know that maybe your leadership team and you yourself might need some restructuring and some rebuilding, whether it's up here or physically with SOPs. Point number 3, if sales are up, but revenue is down or stagnant. A lot of small business owners care about that big number, that vanity number, that how much did we make this year? If that vanity number, which is essentially overall sales, continues to rise, but revenue and profits, whether they be net or gross, decline, then we have an issue. We're scaling irresponsibly, and we are bleeding in a lot of different places. More revenue should not create more stress. If you're in a position where sales are going up, but cash still feels tight, you are bleeding somewhere. And it might not be physical cash that's going out or misplaced payments or things that aren't getting deposited, but it's going to be in the unseen bits. It's going to be in the inventory not being tracked properly. It's going to be in vehicle maintenance that isn't done. So you start getting hit by a lot of vehicle maintenance costs. It's going to be in overtime that you pay because your system isn't structured the way that it needs to be. It's going to be in callbacks. It's going to be an opportunity cost. So make sure that if you see your revenue and your sales numbers up in the sky or even climbing incrementally, but your money is tight, you have a very serious problem. And the worst part about this is that sales does 2 things. Sales is really great because it fixes all things, is what some people say. I'll tell you the complete opposite. It hides a lot of problems. The only thing it does is it buys you time until the next sales cycle for you to even hide those problems more and more and more. And that's what a lot of business owners, especially small business owners, sub 5 mil, that's where they get stuck. Those are ceilings that they have. If that's you, if you find yourself in a position where you're not entirely sure if you're going to make it, that's a big problem as a business. Your business wasn't designed to be redlining the entire time. Problem number 4, problems keep recycling. How many times have you gone into another weekly meeting, if you're even having those, and had to have the same conversations over and over again? It's not a bad employee that just wants to stick it to you. Typically, it's a lack of systems. And when you don't have systems, their time gets stretched. If their time gets stretched, they can't work for you efficiently. If they can't work for you efficiently, then they have more to do in that limited amount of time. That's why these problems keep happening over and over again. It's a vicious cycle of poor time management. So, you, as the owner, as a manager, or as a leader, need to set up those SOPs to make sure that your team can do what needs to be done. Recycled problems are the worst kind of problems. The only thing that you and your team should be facing is external threats and warranty issues. Other than that, your team needs to be rock solid and walk in lockstep with anything that you need to do. If you find yourself in a position where mistakes happen and then conversations happen, and then the mistake happens again over and over again, that's not where you want to be. Take a step back, line up an SOP, and remember, people either want it, get it, and can do it, or they don't. If you continue this, the business will never grow. It will stop, it will be hindered, and it will keep you from moving past that ceiling that you guys can't seem to get out of. All of these things lead to point number 5, which is why it's the most important. And honestly, I'm willing to bet something that you experience a lot as an owner or as a manager of a part of a business. Number 5, which is something that all of these things lead to. And if you've already said yes to some of these, I know for a fact you're struggling with number 5. Either the day is managed by chaos or it starts off extremely chaotic. When this happens, this leads to your managers and your employees and your staff getting burnt out. They don't want to come to work every single day playing triage to problems. People don't care about your business as much to be dealing with that on a daily basis, especially if they don't see you as a leader in the weeds with them or solving problems so that this doesn't happen again. You set the tone as a leader, as an owner, as a boss. Whenever you walk in, you set that tone. And if you're dealing with chaos, you're being reactionary, right? People have 2 different conversations when they go to the doctor and they're on medication. Either you react or you respond. If it's good, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Patient, you responded well to the medicine. Here's what's going on. If not, your body reacts negatively. It's a reaction. It's reacting to this. It's reacting to that. And that's the type of chaos that people have in their business. They wonder why their managers can't seem to get things done because they're constantly playing fireman. Like I said, when you do that, your team burns out. Your employees don't want to come to work. And as soon as the clock hits 5, they're gone. It has nothing to do with how much they care about you or feel towards you. It's the type of life that they're living. And when you make it a chaotic one, you cannot expect for them to stick around. If you have any signs like these, you need to be able to rebuild your system. Regardless of what it is, we can help you with that. We'll send you a quick questionnaire and we'll talk about all the details on how to rebuild your trade, how to rebuild your business, and how to take your life back from where it is now.